Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our kids' Bible story time. And I've got a hat with me. This is a hat I've never worn. This is a trucking company. Yeah, it's if you like North Carolina, if that's your basketball team or your football team, that's kind of a white and light blue hat. Looks like Carolina colors. So. Well, today I thought I'd tell you just a little bit about when I was a boy. I remember when I was in grade school, we lived in Cumberland in a neighborhood where when Halloween would come, we would do a lot of trick-or-treating. And I see boys and girls in our community, in our little town, that they use these little orange plastic jack-o'-lantern holders. They put their candy in there. And even at 60, I look at that, and in my mind, I kind of scoff and say, what kind of a container is that? See, I didn't use a little tiny container like that. I used a pillowcase. My mom would give me and my 3 brothers, my 2 sisters, whoever was going trick-or-treating, she would sort out and find the biggest pillowcases she could find. And then we would go off trick-or-treating. As soon as she gave the word that it was okay to go and knock on doors, we would go knock on doors. And I didn't walk between houses. When they put whatever candy was in my pillowcase, I was off that porch and running. And my brothers were with me. And we would run to the next porch, go up there all out of breath, and ring the doorbell and knock on the door. And when they answered, trick or treat. And we wanted that stuff put in that bag real quick. And we were off running again. And I came home. I wouldn't come back until long after dark. I'd hit every house, every street that I could think of, that I dared walk that far. I came home, that pillowcase, it would be so heavy. And we would take it to our rooms and we'd dump it on our beds, and it was a pile. A little mini mountain of candy. Oh, there were a few apples and things like that. My mom she'd sort through out everything and try to make sure that nothing had been opened or tampered with or messed with, because there's always somebody that's hateful and mean towards kids and wants to hurt somebody. But I remember, I didn't grow up in a house where we had a lot of just extra stuff. If I had to decide, I would say we were a little poor. I remember when it came time for school to start, I would really get excited because that meant I was going to get a few new shirts and maybe a new pair of pants and a new pair of tennis shoes. And I was kind of torn. I didn't like school to start. I liked the freedom of summer. And so I was torn. I didn't want to go to school, but I wanted those new clothes. So I'd have to just kind of surrender that, well, it's what's going to happen. But at least I'll get this new stuff. And so there wasn't a whole lot of candy in our house. And so when Halloween came and it was a chance to go trick-or-treating, and you went all out, and I dumped that. I'll never forget that feeling. Wow, look at that mountain of candy. I just felt like it would never ever run out. The sad thing was it did. It would run out. It wouldn't be too long, and suddenly I'd realize my candy's almost gone. And I'd be kind of sad, and I'd have to hope that Easter would come soon. Because at Easter time, we might get a little chocolate bunny and some jelly beans and a couple marshmallow chicks and stuff like that. And so I'd feel pretty good about that, but it wouldn't last but just a little bit. And it would run out too. So I found a verse that maybe explains some of that feeling about a mountain of candy. I want to read a verse to you from Psalm chapter 36. This talks about God. And it says, verse 5 says, Thy mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens, and thy faithfulness reacheth unto the clouds. Thy faithfulness reacheth unto the clouds. Wow. I mean, that'd be like if you were piling up God's faithfulness and who God is. And you made a mountain, like I made a mountain on my bed with all my Halloween candy. All my trick-or-treating candy. I mean, that mountain was, it was maybe that tall. Well, that verse says that God's faithfulness is like a mountain that reaches up into the clouds. That's a lot of faithfulness. God's got so much faithfulness. God is true to who he is so much that you can count. It's just piled up and piled up and piled up. It's a mountain. It's not just any mountain. It's a mountain that just goes way up into the clouds. Woo! Wow. That tells me a lot about God, who he is. He is somebody, when God says he loves us, his love for us, it climbs up in the mountains, into the sky, above the mountains, and goes into the clouds. When God says he'll provide for us and take care of us, wow, it's like a mountain that goes way up inside there, into the clouds. When God says he's watching, he doesn't miss a thing. That's like a mountain. God is watching. It's just a mountain that goes up into the clouds. Well, if a mountain goes that big, God's never going to run out of those good things. That's a relief. I don't have to worry. Well, I don't know. Maybe I better not ask God to forgive me today. He might run out of forgiveness. No way. He'll never run out of forgiveness. It's like a mountain of forgiveness. It just goes up into the clouds. Whew. That's a good thought. Well, if you've got any candy left over from last year's Halloween or left over from Easter Sunday, share it with your brothers and sisters. Okay? Have a good day.